As the summer months are really heating up now, expect the big game releases to die down a little bit, although this summer I'm hoping that we still have some games that will surprise us, and that's what I'm going to be looking at today. Specifically, I want to highlight a bunch of new PlayStation 4 games that are out tomorrow. These are brand new games, and I also want to highlight a couple of new games that are out later in the week. I'll let you guys know specifically on when you guys can play the games, but as far as tomorrow's new game releases go, there are a couple of interesting titles, and I think you guys should be very aware of them. They could end up surprising you, so without further ado, let's get right into it, and let's kick things off with Warhammer Chaosbane. Warhammer Chaosbane is an action-adventure title set in the famed Warhammer IP, and it's set in a world ravaged by war and dominated by magic. You must rise up to face the Chaos Hordes, playing solo or with up to 4 players, and let me add that this is the kind of game that I would highly recommend you to play with a group of friends, so that might make it a challenging pickup day one, because while you might have your inherent interest in the game, getting a group of friends to also pick up the game, that might be a little bit difficult given the price point, but nonetheless, you can play solo if you so choose. You'll choose a hero from up to 4 character classes and prepare for epic battles wielding some of the most powerful artifacts of the old world. The reviews are already coming out for Warhammer Chaosbane, and they're looking rather positive. It's sitting at a 76 on Metacritic as of recording the video, so it could be a pretty good dungeon crawling action RPG. Now, of course, there are a lot of games on the market like this, and if you compare it to titles such as Diablo, Path of Exile, whatever the case may be, dropping so much money on a game like this right from the get-go might not be all too appealing, but definitely keep it on your radar, and maybe down the line if it does go on sale, which I could see that happening rather quickly, at that point Warhammer Chaosbane would be a much more enticing pickup. But as far as the game itself goes, it does tout some ferocious battles where you'll fight your way through monster hordes using over 180 different powers, activate your bloodlust, a devastating skill to escape the most perilous of situations. The game touts incredibly high replay value as well. You've got story mode, a boss rush mode, countless dungeons, and regular updates that offer a rich and varied gaming experience, and with 10 different difficulty levels, you can find the right challenge to test your abilities. Again, Warhammer Chaosbane is due out on the PlayStation 4 tomorrow. Alright, here's a game that I'm very excited for, and I've already been hyping up: The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 2. If you guys are even remotely into Japanese RPGs, the Trails of Cold Steel games are must-play titles. Now, obviously, don't start with Trails of Cold Steel 2. These games are definitely connected, and you want to play Trails of Cold Steel 1, even though that game has a relatively slow start, where it's introducing you to all of the characters, and the story doesn't really get going in that game until the halfway point. Trails of Cold Steel 2 really gets the story going, and this is where the story of Trails of Cold Steel gets very, very exciting. Now, it should be noted, this is just Trails of Cold Steel 2. It's coming to the PlayStation 4. Then we've got Trails of Cold Steel 3, which is going to be coming later this year. And then Trails of Cold Steel 4 does round out the series, so this isn't the entirety of the series. And if you do want to jump into Trails of Cold Steel 2, there is a recap video, but again, just think about it from a logical standpoint. How much is a 7 to 10 minute recap video gonna do versus playing, you know, a 50 to 70 hour RPG? Maybe even longer than that if you decide to do all of the content. So what I want to say is, yes, you should definitely be invested into Trails of Cold Steel. You should definitely be playing these games, but do play the first one and then jump into Trails of Cold Steel 2 and you'll have a rather good time. These games are also improved on the PlayStation 4 versus other platforms. You've got a turbo mode and a couple of nice new additions. Obviously, technically speaking, it's nothing to write home about given the fact that these were originally PlayStation Vita games, but if you just want the fundamental elements of a JRPG, like a quality story, great characters, a solid battle system, awesome music, all of those elements are done really, really well in Trails of Cold Steel 2, and for that reason, I have to give it a strong recommendation, even though it is coming at $49.99. That might be a little bit hypocritical of me, but nonetheless, it's gonna offer you a ton of content, and for JRPG fans, these games are a must-play. Alright, next up is another JRPG that's going a little bit under the radar, and that is Legend of the Tetrarchs. This is dropping tomorrow, and we don't know much about it. There hasn't been a lot of attention put on this game, but it tells that the holy sword that sealed away an ominous power has been drawn out, and darkness starts to spill out across the land, mutating people into monsters. The 4 heroes of ancient times will meet a new band of brave warriors to slash through the darkness with the light of courage. What will they find beyond the chaos? So there's nothing really that interesting from a fundamental story standpoint. However, it does have some cool old school visuals, and who knows, the game might end up surprising all of us. We'll see as it's dropping tomorrow, but if it's priced anything more than, you know, $14.99 or even $9.99 at that point, probably best to wait on a sale for. Next up, we have a brand new PlayStation 4 console exclusive that, once again, is not getting a lot of attention, and that is Effie. Effie is a 3D action-adventure game that combines classic elements from the genres such as combat, platforming, and puzzles, with the exploration of an expanded world. You live a unique fantasy adventure and relive the look and feel of old school video games. You delve into the adventure of Galen, a young man in his quest to recover his youth after a witch cursed him with premature old age, defeat all of the sinister creatures, overcome all the platforming challenges, and solve the most complex puzzles. The game does note that it's inspired by games such as Ratchet & Clank, A Hat in Time, The Legend of Zelda, Rhyme, Abzu, Yooka-Laylee, Rayman, Spyro, and Crash Bandicoot, so those are some good games to be inspired by, and Effie could turn out to be a compelling game in its own right. Again, if you're looking for a casual action-adventure platformer, that's probably what you're gonna find here, and it is a PlayStation 4 console exclusive. It will be arriving on PC, but as far as consoles are concerned, it looks like Effie is only coming to PlayStation 4, at least for now, coming from a new studio in Inverge, and it's a self-published title, so we'll see how it turns out. Could be one that surprises a lot of you guys. Alright, next up, here's a puzzle platformer that looks really cool, a cyberpunk one, and that is Neon Junctions. It's a first-person puzzle platformer imbued with atmosphere of synthwave and the 80s. Plunge into cyberspace and try to overcome 35 levels capable to challenge not only your savvy but also dexterity, capture and move conductive cubes, close electrical circuits, and restore power of the interactive objects around you to get to the teleportation plant, which is able to take you to the next level of the game. This is another game that's not getting a lot of attention, but the presentation is so slick, it's so trippy, and we don't get a lot of quality cyberpunk games. I know Cyberpunk 2077 is coming out, but nonetheless, as far as games that are available today, and as far as lower budget titles, Neon Junctions does seem to fit that category, and we'll see how the game turns out, as it is expected to arrive tomorrow. If you're into puzzle platformers, this is one to be on the lookout for, although it really depends on what kind of price point this one ends up with. If it's anything like $19.99 or $24.99, probably a little bit too expensive. At $9.99 or $14.99, again, it would be a very, very palatable pickup, and even still, if it does end up on sale, at the very least, keep it on your radar and maybe pick it up down the line. Alright, here's another cool platformer that's coming to the PlayStation 4, and that is REFUNCT. REFUNCT is a short first-person platformer about restoring a vibrant world. Now, this game has already been released on PC, and get this, it released at a price point of $2.99, so hopefully the PlayStation 4 version is priced similarly, but here's what's even more compelling. The game has been received incredibly well on PC, with the Steam reviews touting the game at overwhelmingly positive reviews. 95% of the 11,500 reviews have been positive, and recently 97% of the 79 reviews have been received positive, so that is very, very good. And the game has some awesome and well done visuals, and the game does tout platforming, wall jumps, slides, pipes, lifts, springboards, beautiful emotional soundtrack and vibrant visuals, peaceful, non-violent open world without death, playful, learn to play without tutorials, relaxing, play at your own pace without pressure, dynamic, changing world, and music synced day and night cycle. The game is also incredibly seamless, half an hour of uninterrupted quality playtime, and it is a game for everyone, enjoyable by a wide variety of player skill. I think if the game does drop at $2.99, just like the PC version, it would be an incredible pickup, and if it's $4.99, it would be really good. This is a very, very short game, so while received incredibly well, be mindful of the fact it's received well on the basis that it is a cheaper game, and it is priced accordingly based on the longevity and content that's there, but at $2.99 could be a pretty great pickup. And lastly, I do want to give a mention to Pixark. Not sure how this is gonna do on the PlayStation 4, however, this was received pretty mixed on PC. Obviously inspired by Ark and games like Minecraft, you enter a world of mystery, danger, ancient dinosaurs, mythical beasts, and cubes. Work by yourself or with a tribe of others to gather materials, craft useful items, tame wild creatures, and build huge bases to survive in Pixark. It's an open world survival game. I know some of you guys are already going to be very off-put by the type of game that this is, but it does tout over 100 creatures to tame, train, and ride. Voxel block building system, so you obviously know what they're going for there. Procedurally generated maps, procedurally generated quests, a creative mode where you can build anything you can imagine, extensive character creation tools and character progression systems with skill trees and customizable stats. Again, the game's had a pretty mixed reception on PC. We'll see how it turns out on consoles, but I'm hoping for the best out of Pixark. Ark is a pretty notable IP, although, again, it hasn't been received all too well, so we'll see how this turns out, as Pixark is dropping later this week. And that's gonna conclude this video. Again, we don't have a lot of big budget titles dropping right around now. We're gonna have to wait until the fall until those massive games come. However, later in the summer, there are games like Judgment, Sinking City, and a lot of other titles that do have my personal interest. But as far as tomorrow goes, there are some exciting games like Warhammer, Chaosbane, The Legend of Heroes, Trails of Cold Steel 2, and there's also REFUNCT, which I think could end up surprising a lot of people, and if it is priced accordingly on the PlayStation 4, much like it was on PC, although I'm a little bit skeptical on that. But if it's released for $3 or $5, that could be a great pickup as well. So some cool titles coming tomorrow. Nothing super marquee. However, with a lot of those games, I think if you do just give them a chance, you'll find a lot of enjoyment out of them. Effie, Neon Junctions, I think there's a lot of potential here for these games to surprise you. So that's going to conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.